Hey everybody, welcome back to Pearls of Wisdom. This is the 50 plus challenge, day 8, and I decided to do something a little differently. I'm out here in one of my flower beds, and behind me I still have my cayenne pepper and tomato plants covered. I found this really awesome, it's a garden mat, and it has like this back on it so you don't get wet, and it's just a little garden mat, and I found it at the thrift store. So it was like $2.99. It's very similar to those ones where you put under your grill, or the cat, there's the cat litter mats that are pretty much the same thing. But today I just wanted to go a different direction. It's 45 degrees out and really windy. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, we're seeing this time of year, we're seeing a lot of the black walnuts. So I thought, well, why don't we just talk about that? Anyway, the saying went years ago that, the nuts to you, which was a source of delight. But I always thought that it meant that it was more like too bad, so sad, like nuts to you, forget about it type of thing. So it was very interesting to find that out. You'll see these in their original form, that they have like this green, when they first are on the tree and fall to the ground, they've got like a real thick shell on the outside. I didn't think about doing this video soon enough, but there was a green kind of like a skin. It's real thick on the outside, and I removed that. I picked these up, I let them dry for I think maybe a week or something, just so that I could cut them off. And then I removed those, and I actually made a tincture, which kind of looks, it's just really super dark, but there's the skins that are in there. And the way that I made the tincture is I just took those outer shells, and then I covered them with 80% vodka, and I will leave it in that jar, for about 8 to 10 weeks, because I only used the 80 proof. And what black walnuts are good for is they're very high in vitamin, vitamin A. There's a lot of vitamins and minerals that they're strong in, and they have fiber and other compounds, antioxidants, and they're very good for the for cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So I thought, well, that was my first one that I made. So then that left me with the nut. And these are so very good. I remember I made my wedding cake, and it was one she had never made, and I put in the request for a black walnut cake with cream cheese frosting, and it was so good. And then I got to keep the topper for the 1-year anniversary, but unfortunately I had a house fire and it destroyed the cake. And when I went back to ask her if she could make another cake, she was no longer making cakes. So anyway, so I thought, well, I'm going to see if I can create a hack, because I saw people, trying to break these open. They're so tough, and it's amazing that the squirrels can get them open. But the other thing I was going to say about those shells is they're actually used for wood stain and hair dye as well. So that's pretty interesting. So I tried to come up, I thought I was being so smart and I was going to create this hack and everything was going to go great. Well, it didn't go as anticipated. So let me show you what I was trying to do here. So anyway, I'm going out of frame, but I have this, it's just this tiny little vise, and it just, screws in and out. So I thought, oh, well, why can't I crack the nut with that? And you have to obviously have it over the edge so you can turn this around. So, there's like a split there here in the nut. You can't really see it, but that's where its weakest point is. So I thought I would just like set it in there and then start tightening, like that. And let's see if I can just do it. But it does take, quite a bit of effort. And what I want to do, it takes a, oh, there we go, we got it. Okay, so it does take a lot of strength. So what I want to do is I wanted to be able to put my drill on the end and let the drill do it, but this was smooth, so that didn't work out. But anyway, so it cracked and open. And so then you can use your little nut crackers to finish opening it up. You know, some of them they'll just come right out. And my hands are so cold I can't feel anything at the moment. But oh, here we go. Look at that big, that's a nice piece of a nut that came out. Oh, they're still good. And then there's the little picks that you can use too, you know, to get the pieces, the smaller pieces out as you go. So I just wanted to show you that. So that went pretty well. The next thing I would like to show is, like I mentioned, is my tomatoes. And hold on, I know this is a little odd. So did you know that these are the last two little tomatoes and they just wouldn't grow? And these were off of a plant and they were as green as this, and I just put them in the basket and put them in front of the window, and they ripened up. So with these, I'm going to see if they'll ripen or not. And the next thing is, one, if you can eat them, or, well, you know, they say that you can make fried green tomatoes. I did that once. It was pretty gross. So it didn't suit my taste, but maybe I did it wrong. So then with your tomatoes, once they're done, you know, once you are coming up to the last of them, the other idea you can do is you can, this is what I did, is just take like a flower box or, you know, something like that. So I had some little cherry tomatoes, which these are all dried up, but I had heard on one of the homesteading videos that I'm going to give a shout out to Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, that I got this idea from them, and they said it was an Amish thing where you take your tomato and then you cut it in slices, and then you'll have like your seeds. So a way to save money, like if you have some heirloom seeds, way to save money and to keep your own seeds is take that slice and then just set it in the box. So I had some seeds here, and that's what these paper towels were. He said that, you know, nothing bothers them, you know, that you just put them in a cool, dark place. And, well, I had set these aside. Well, I had these paper towels over it. Well, something got in here and just kind of tore it all up. But I did it a little bit differently. I had these little cherry tomatoes, and they were in the refrigerator, you know, and then some of them I had dried. So then I just mushed them and then got the seeds in here. So we'll see if my rendition worked, but something got in here and tore it all up. So anyway, so then that leads me into, you know, to keep the mice out, is then Doug with Off Grid and Doug and Stacy, he has a recipe where you can use different ingredients. You can use like the flour, Jiffy Mix, cornstarch, sugar, baking soda, and they come in different, you know, he's got his recipe, and you can use different variations of it. But he had taken his recipe and sprinkled it on the tomatoes, and then he placed it around the homestead and to kill mice and rats. So I had looked up another recipe from the Zen Garden and just kind of did a combination, and I thought, okay, if we've got mice running around, well, then I'm going to do my own. So this is what I got from the Zen Garden. Is he said just to take like a little container like this, and then I cut a little hole in the end, and then I made a mix. I think I used flour, sugar, and baking soda. So what that does is it's non-toxic to, you know, other things, other animals, but those that can't digest the baking soda, it goes in there, and then basically they can't expel the gas, and then it exterminates, you know, the mice and rats. which I don't know, you know. I guess you got to make your own decision on that, but I'm like, okay, if you're getting in my house, then we're done. You have to stay outside. So, but I had this, you know, actually in an outside place. You know, I didn't want to invite them in to eat. But the next thing that I noticed that is that the amaryllis bulbs have come out. So I wanted to show you mine because now I just brought these in, and they have the long green leaves on them. So these are to the point where now you see that they've died back. So what you can do with your bulbs, rather than keep repurchasing every year, is you can either pull them out of your pot and then just kind of clear off, be very gentle to clear off the roots, and then you know, you can wash them and then leave them, you know, or just kind of rinse them off and then leave them sit and dry for a couple of days, and then you can pack them away in take like shredded paper and then put them in a box, and then, you know, wrap your bulbs and kind of, you know, to where it's kind of keeps the moisture in there a little bit, and then you put them in a cool dark place for a couple of months till you bring them back out, and then they'll start to grow again. But I found that if I leave mine in the pots, you know, like this, and you don't water them, you just leave them go dormant and dark and pull them out in a couple of months, then they, you know, I started out with a few bulbs, and I don't know if you can tell, but it just seems like, you know, they just propagate, and there's more bulbs in here, you know, they're all over the place. And I have like 4 pots like this now over just, you know, buying a couple of bulbs. So that's, you know, another way to make money. And lastly, my last trick here is we're going to have to move the camera. So hang on just a minute. We're going to just roll. Oops, hang on. We're taking a move. Okay. Let me get over here. Here's the next path. This is just your normal bread knife, and I got this one at the Goodwill for 99 cents. I guess that was backwards when you show. So when I'm cleaning out the garden, like, you know, you can't really pull these out, so I take my knife, get it at the base, just run across, and then there you go, and your plants just come out. See, I mean, it goes really super fast just using a bread knife. So anyway, I guess I'll end it there, and I hope that gives you a couple ideas on how you can be more creative and save some money. I mean, it gets really important. You know, I have to think of creative ideas all the time as I get older, new ways of doing things. Just for an example to end out the video is, I was trying to move a Bowflex all by myself. Well, they weigh about 150 pounds, and I got it on a dolly, which is a flat cart, and I had to move it I was moving it from one storage unit to the other, and it was pretty far away, so I tied it to the undercarriage of my vehicle and drove it around, and then got it into the other unit, and then I tried to pick it up and I couldn't pick it up because I was trying to lean it up against the wall. And finally, excuse me, I saw that I had a kitty litter pail there, so I decided to make a fulcrum point, and so I lifted it how I could and then pushed the pail with my foot so that I could keep raising it up, and finally I got it up against the wall. So, you know, you do what you got to do. So my question to you is, what do you have to offer for creative ideas, you know, for yourself, to other people? You know, what can you do to make lives better? And what are you doing to add to the dash between the lines, between the dates? So I hope you got something out of this, found it a little interesting. I know it was a little awkward, but I enjoyed having you here today, and I hope you'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks so much, and you have a sunshiny day.